So the app that we've built is called the SOS app, and it's a travel companion. The idea for the app is that it recognizes the user's location worldwide. And by recognizing their location, it can tell them the local emergency services numbers in the country they're in. We think this is a potentially useful if you're in a country where you don't speak the language. And we also have a map that's attached to it, which will show local services like pharmacies and medical nearby. So we'll give you a demo of the app now. Francesco could start that for me, please. So here you can see we're running it in iOS. We're just going to run up a quick simulation just while it's loading up. So when the app opens up, it asks us for our location. So we grant it permission, and it's currently defaulting to Japan as our current location. And you can see that it's given the emergency services numbers for that location. We also have a map on the app. So once again, recognizing the user's location, and it's showing with the badges some medical services nearby. You can click on these individual badges and it'll give you more information about the addresses. And in our drop down, we can select other options like local pharmacies. And again, getting some more address information, and also local police stations. The user can move themselves around on the map as well. And then by hitting refresh, it will continue to update the information about local stuff in their area. Now, if we go back to the map, we can also simulate other locations to show you how the app works. So now we're going to simulate that the user is in New York. You can see now we're on 47th Street and it's updated to the 911 numbers that we're all familiar with. Now, if we go back to the map and we refresh the user's location, now we're just south of Central Park. And if we hit hospital, we can see local clinics nearby to our location and also pharmacies. And that's pretty much how our app works. So I'm now going to pass on to Michael, and he's going to tell you a bit more information about our project.
Yeah, so one of our main challenges to overcome was the fact that I was actually working in Hong Kong. So we had about an 8-hour time difference, which basically just meant I'd duck out at around midnight this time, and then which would be 4 p.m. UK time, which meant that the other teammates would have a lot of time to still just work on the app and like develop it further. And then I would kind of be out of the loop, or possibly some others had to duck out a bit early as well. So the way we kind of overcame this was whatever work was done, they'd put resources, tutorials that they use that evening into the Slack channel, and any other resources that would be helpful to basically try and help catch up. And then every morning at 10 a.m. we'd start the day with a catch up, a quick retro. Everyone would bring each other up to speed on the specific code/task they were working on. Once we were all caught up and felt confident in all aspects of the project, we'd make a plan for the rest of the day and then break off into pairs and sometimes even individuals to accomplish these tasks. Then at around 12:30, just before lunchtime, we'd all meet again together, debrief, make sure everyone knew what was going on, exactly where we were with the app, and then make a plan for the afternoon and kind of just attack it like that. And it just worked like clockwork after a while. I'd say this was extremely important, trying to stay disciplined to this daily routine, because we actually changed ideas Tuesday afternoon to this emergency app, and none of us had ever worked with Xcode or Swift before. So we literally had about a week, if not less than that, to try and come up with an app with a framework we've never used, a language we've never used. So that took a lot of individual work and revision, which Adam will touch upon a bit more.
Hi, so yeah, I'm going to talk about Swift. We built our entire application in Swift, which is a multi-purpose programming language, and it's Apple's chosen successor to Objective-C, which since the 80s has been Apple's language of choice. It's designed to run on Apple devices. So the syntax, it sort of looks like JavaScript, has an equally low threshold for syntax flexibility. So if you can't even put one comma in the wrong place or it won't work. It's also got its own lingo, being an Apple thing, and the error messages don't make a vast amount of sense unless you learn that lingo first. But unlike a lot of the other frameworks and the other languages we could have used, which are JavaScript based, Swift is a general purpose programming language. It's not it doesn't have its roots in web development. So from a learning perspective for us, it served as a gateway into other C-based languages, which you might want to learn in the future, like C++ and C#. The way our app works is by taking the core location data provided by Apple within an iPhone. So we get that data and then we make it speak directly to an external data source called an API. Now, we don't control the core location, obviously. We don't control the external API either. So we have to write code that's going to speak directly to that without any sort of user action required in between. And that was probably the biggest challenge, was kind of meeting that API where it was and then writing specific requests such that we would get back the information we wanted and the app would therefore work. I'll now pass on to Francesco, who will discuss the maps.
So the Google technology that we used to build our application was Maps SDK, software developer kit. That basically allowed us to add maps based on Google Maps data. These SDK technologies granted us to automatically have access to the Google Maps server, map display, response to user gesture like clicks and drags. And one of the most important features was to create markers on the map of the location searched by the users, as you can see from your screen, such as pharmacy. Also giving information of each places. We started to build our app from the map using the new SwiftUI language, as we wanted to learn a language that most probably will be used in the future, replacing the old one. Learning a new language such as Swift wasn't easy at all, especially if there is, let's say, a new version of it. We searched many tutorials and documentation on how to implement the map with SwiftUI in our app, and we couldn't find any good resources, exactly because it's new, and all the official Google Docs are written UIKit. Due to that, we then decided to switch to UIKit last week on Thursday for the map. Building the map was fine with the resources we found. However, during our project, we faced some difficulties on finding good materials also for UIKit, as many of them were already obsolete. So as Adam mentioned already, we ended up using both, where we also took a storyboard of feature of SwiftUI, as you can see, like on the map. That one is we built the map with a old with a tool from SwiftUI, and the view where there are the phone numbers built them with a SwiftUI new technology. And this one I just used a screenshot of from my iPhone to just show you the app is perfectly working in a iOS device. Thank you.